All right, so what we took off is a kind of a two-part video we're going to cover. We took off our pistons and we took off the crankshaft. So it's actually really simple. As you look on there, I am very fortunate. Mine were already pre-numbered, which really helps out. So on the side here, this is as I took them out of the engine. So it says here number 5. Can you see that? Yeah, 5. And it goes back 6. Whoops, the other way. 7 and 8. You want to be really careful when you take these out, and the same thing on the other side. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. This is as I took them out upside down. But as you're looking at the engine from the front, let's say it's sitting in your bay, and you're sitting as you're looking at it. On the left side, the very first one on the left side to you is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the very first one on the right to you is 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how they really are. Yours may not be numbered. Somebody already stamped these. Yours may not be. But there's an easy way. Well, you're going to have, not easy way, I'll take it back. You're going to have to find a way that I recommend you stamp them, or find some type of way that you can make sure the same piston goes in the same exact hole. Or bore, excuse me. Now, inside of these bearings, all right, it's like this one's bad. It went down to the copper. All right, and it's got some scratches. So these all need to be replaced anyway. They're all very similar. Went down to the copper. Have what we call the fingernails, fingernail test, where you can see those scratches in there catching in your fingernail. I'm gonna have to replace these, and that's fine. We are expecting to do that. But if you look in here, just say yours aren't stamped and you forget which way, because this has to go on exactly the same way it was configured, because it was milled like that. Well, once you put these on, you might get confused and like, I don't know which way it went. It's pretty simple. There's a notch actually in this bearing pops out. Here's the bearing. There's a notch right there. It's that notch, and the bearing, there will be a notch. Obviously, they're going to go into each other. Now, on the other side, there's a notch. The notches won't line up, but notches go to notches. So you can't put these on backwards if you follow that simple rule. Notches always go to notches. So that's why you know how you know they're oriented correctly. And in my case, this double check, they're already numbered 3, 3. And I already, that's my double check. The other side does not have numbers on it, so that's why I know for sure they're lined up right. Some people go as far as making sure the same nuts on the same side, but I don't see the complete sense in that as long as they're torqued correctly. So we took those off, and once you open up the engine, you'll see these sitting on top of this crankshaft. So here's the crankshaft. All right, so they're sitting on all these throws, etc. To get this off, very, very simple. We're going to walk over here. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about is as you take those off, you got to be really, really careful. There's some protectors they make. You can cover up those threaded screws. You don't want them touching the parts on the crankshaft. You don't want them touching the inside of the housing of your bore. You don't want anything to touch. It's like a surgical procedure, because you don't want to cause any undue scratches already that you may have. So get the protector, take your time, have a helper like I did, my wonderful son. All right, so I want to make sure I told you guys that. It's imperative you make sure that you are as careful in removing those as possible. Before you do that too, remove the carbon from the front. The way we did it is once we disconnected them, we cleaned the edges, which will be full of carbon with WD-40 or carb cleaner, real good with a nice soft nylon brush. And then we just tapped it out with a rubber mallet. And just super, super careful and make sure we can pull them out. We gave birth to pistons, essentially. All right, so the crankshaft, after you take those off, will be sitting in there, and there'll be 5 of these brackets sitting on there. And they're numbered too. Mine's 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the back. I don't know if you can see the 1. This is 1. Can you see it? Can you see it? There you go, 1. It has an arrow facing forward, so you know which way you can't, if you follow the arrow to the front of the engine, you can't put them in. You can put them in backwards, but if you follow the arrow, you'll know number 1's in the front, facing this way. So you got 1, all the way going back. 2, 3, 4. The 5th one's a special one. I think you'll be able to figure out which way it goes. There's only one way you can put it on, like that. So that's the special one, okay? All right, so you bust those off. These got to be torqued down when we put it back together. And these all have also, all of these have bearings that need to be replaced too. Things you're looking for in your bearings, if they go here, let's take a look at these ones. And this goes for all your bearings. So let's go on the light here. Whoops. Looking for a couple things. One, you're looking for deep grooves and scratches. Helps to get a rag, get it out of there, but you can kind of see as I reveal it. Not too bad. Fingernail test. That's one thing. If you can catch your fingernail on it at all, then it needs to be replaced. Then you also want to inspect your crankshaft that you just took it off, because it's also probably going to have some grooves causing that to happen. The other one is this copper is bad. If you see copper, it's worn down. It's been in there a while. It needs to be replaced too. So unless you have a beautiful steel-looking, shiny, unscratched surface, they need to be replaced most likely. So especially if you're getting this far in your engine, you're probably wanting to make sure everything's done right the same way. Also, this also has notches in there, so you can't put your bearings in backwards. All right, so notch, there's a notch in the bearing as well. They go there. Like I said, has an arrow. This is number 2, so I know it's my second one towards the engine. So it goes right there. And once you do that, you just pull your crankshaft out, lay it down, good to go. All right, and that's piston and crankshaft removal.